Evening. Welcome to House Church. We are continuing in our Ways of the Wise series on Proverbs chapters 1 through 9. And this week we're looking at the second half of Proverbs chapter 1. My friend Mike Howard from Iowa was with you on Sunday morning teaching us about the passage regarding wisdom's rebuke. And he shared how, in many ways, Solomon is writing to his son Rehoboam. And King Rehoboam, sadly, and ironically, didn't take his father's advice. He did what he wanted to do. He did what his yes men told him to do. And it was such a bad decision, it split the entire kingdom of Israel. And when we read wisdom's rebuke at the end of Proverbs chapter 1, it almost seems kind of strong or too intense to us as modern day Americans. And so, let me comment on that particular issue. First of all, to many people groups in the world today, and especially in the past, this doesn't read as strongly. We are an especially sensitive lot as modern-day Americans, so we've got to know that going in. And secondly, it's meant to be strong. It's meant to make you feel even a bit uncomfortable. In fact, let me read you verses 25 and 26. It says this. It says, "Since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I, in turn, will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you." Now, first of all, who's doing the laughing here? It's not God. Remember, we always have to study context when we read the Bible. You can't just pull a verse out by itself. So, if we look back to the start of this section, which is verses 20 and 21, they read like this. "Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out at the city gate, and she makes her speech." So this whole section is wisdom personified. So it's like wisdom is a person and is giving a speech. And wisdom is saying, my advice is perfect. And if you choose to ignore it, then that's on you. I gave you the best path. Okay, it's like wisdom is saying, I offered you 2 boxes, and I told you that the box on the left had $1 million, and that the box on the right had Monopoly money. So, yeah, if you're going to go ahead and choose the Monopoly money, all I can do is just, sit back and laugh. Like, I don't even know what else to do. And so it's so important that you train yourself to listen to wisdom, even if your flesh doesn't want to. And it's so important that you put advisors in your life who won't just be yes people and tell you what you want to hear. And that's a big one for our day. Because I think too often in America, in 2024, if anyone gives us advice that's different than what our heart is craving, we are so quick to label them as toxic, or as someone who doesn't have our real needs in mind, or as someone who doesn't care about our authentic self. And okay, I get it. Sometimes you do just get bad advice. I get bad advice sometimes, but I still try and seek out a lot of advice. In fact, it's good to even purposefully seek out advice from at least a few people who might say something different than what your heart wants. And listen, advice doesn't mean you have to do what somebody says, right? It's advice. But as Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. So if you have many people giving you advice, the easier it is to find wisdom in there. But if no one is giving me advice except my own heart, then yeah, I can see wisdom laughing at me saying, oh, you thought you knew it all yourself, huh? How's that working out for you? So trust in God, trust in His wisdom, and trust in the wisdom of those who have walked ahead of you and learned from each other. That's one of the great things about being in a house church. Amen.